So, quick question for you. Do you think your future is just written in stone?
That is the classic question, isn't it?
Like, is there some script out there and we're all just, actors hitting our marks?
Yeah.
Or do we actually get to have some say in the ending?
It's that old battle, free will versus determinism. But today we're doing a deep dive into a visual guide. It's called Beyond Fate, a guide to shaping your spiritual destiny.
Right.
And it basically suggests that both of those extremes are, well, they're not quite right.
So it's offering a third option.
Exactly. The whole point here is that fate isn't some rigid, unchangeable path. It's actually malleable. But to get there, you first have to completely redefine the word fate.
Okay, let's unpack that. The guide defines fate as your soul's tendency.
Right.
That sounds a lot less intimidating than destiny with a capital D. It sounds more psychological.
It does, doesn't it? Think of it less like a script and more like momentum or ingrained habits. The guide uses this great analogy of gravity. Gravity predicts that if you drop an apple, it's going to fall.
Sure.
But if you reach out and catch it, you've influenced the outcome. You haven't defied a law. You've just interacted with it.
I like that. So my fate is just the likely outcome based on my habits. If I always procrastinate, my fate is to miss deadlines. But I can catch the apple.
You can catch the apple. You rewrite the script by changing the habit. And the guide gives us this amazing visual for the great tree of life.
You are a single leaf on a great tree of life. It's a beautiful image.
It is, but it's also doing some serious conceptual work. It argues that while we feel like these separate individuals, these single leaves, we're deeply connected to a larger spiritual family or group soul. We're not just floating out there alone.
Which kind of sets the stage for why we're even here in the first place.
Yeah.
The guide calls life a classroom for your eternal soul.
And that reframe is crucial because if life is a school, then our experiences, even the really painful ones, they aren't punishments.
They're lessons.
They're temporary lessons, all meant to enrich the soul's journey.
Okay, so that takes some of the pressure off. You're not failing at life. You're just in a really difficult chemistry class or something.
Yes, exactly.
So if this is a school, how do we get better grades? How do we actually shape this so-called destiny?
Well, the guide lays out what it calls the path to spiritual freedom. And step one sounds simple, but it is so hard. Know yourself.
Because you can't change a pattern you don't even see.
Precisely. You have to really grasp those soul tendencies we mentioned. You need to see the path your habits are currently paving for you so you can spot the pitfalls before you end up in them.
That makes sense. And that leads to step two, which is much more actionable, the magnet mind.
Right. This is all about the power of focus. The source says, your mind is a powerful magnet for your reality.
I've heard ideas like this before, but this is specific. It says to repeatedly visualize health and happiness to attract those outcomes.
It's about training your focus. I mean, if your soul's tendency is to constantly scan for problems, guess what you'll find?
Problems. Yeah.
But if you consciously visualize health or happiness, you're tuning that magnet to notice the opportunities that lead there instead.
But there's a blocker, isn't there? Step three. And honestly, this one feels like the biggest hurdle for most people.
Forgiveness.
Yeah. The guy calls it a necessary tool for happiness.
Notice that phrasing. Not a nice idea or a moral goal. A necessary tool.
Like a wrench or a hammer?
Exactly. It connects right back to the idea of ingrained habits. Holding a grudge is a heavy negative habit. And the text is really clear. Releasing old grudges and pain is essential to finding peace.
So if you're holding on to all that anger, you're basically anchoring your fate to something that already happened.
You're trying to grow a new leaf on the tree, but you're strangling the branch it's on. You can't move forward if you're chained to old injuries.
Oh, wow. That's a vivid way to put it. Okay, so to pull this all together, we are not just passive leaves getting blown around by the wind.
Not at all. We are active participants. By understanding our habits, by directing our focus, and by, clearing out the old emotional junk.
We shape how our own branch grows. We have a lot more agency than we think.
We really do. And that leaves us with, I think, a pretty provocative thought to sit with.
Okay.
If life truly is a classroom, like this guide says, and every single experience is a lesson,
then what's the question?
What is the specific subject or class that your soul is struggling with right now? What's the thing that keeps happening that you might be mistaking for just bad luck when it's actually a lesson you haven't quite learned yet?
Oof. That is definitely one to chew on. Thanks for this dive.